automobile. And we drove from Texas to Arizona on a road trip. She was running away from her marriage. We didn't know that. We left in the middle of the night, going west, and we went to this podunk desert town between Yuma and Phoenix. She felt she was in a good, safe place, hiding. So we went there, where there's scorpions and rattlesnakes and the hot spot of the nation up there with Needles, California and Death Valley. Gila monsters, hot. Not a good place for a redhead, freckle-faced, fair-skinned little girl. But that's where we ended. Everybody knew everybody. There was a lot of gossip going around. My mother always said, now if you ever get into trouble, let me know first before anybody else tells me. That was impossible in a town this size. Gila Bend, Arizona. It was not a place where people chose to go to, but she had a job waiting for her via the mail, snail mail, and she was running away. So we landed there, and I was lucky enough to be able to land a job throughout my high school years, the same job for 4 years. I was a waitress. You know the one at that time with the little white skirt, and they thought we should wear those things in our hair? No, didn't do that. But so I was a waitress at the Space Age Restaurant and Motel in the desert. And this little town, poor thing, it was just a 2-lane main street, and there were no traffic signals. I mean, it was nothing. So here we are in the middle of the desert. I'm doing an evening dinner shift, and 5 people walk in, and they sit in my station. They didn't look like they were from town, but they're sitting there, and they said, oh, 1 more person will be on the way. Okay, so I pulled up an extra chair. We've got the table. I give everybody water and menus, and they place their order, and then they realize we don't serve alcohol. Not back in the 70s did you really serve a lot of alcohol in restaurants, although the town was full of bars. So they said, could you go to room 18, knock on the door, and ask him to give you 2 bottles of wine for your party? Sure. So I got trotting down to room 18, knock on the door, and this man opens the door, and he is drop dead gorgeous. Oh my goodness. And his eyes were sparkling blue. And I'm staring into the face of Paul Newman. Together. I mean, I'm only a 17 redhead, freckle-faced, fair, pale-skinned teenager, and I get all fluttery, and I said, sir, your dinner party, they would like 2 bottles of wine for their dinner? And he says, oh, sure, honey, and he leaves the door wide open. Now, what I forgot to tell you was that Paul Newman was standing there in front of me, half naked. I didn't see that because I was looking at his eyes until I saw that. He is in his underwear. He is in those tight ones, you know, the whitey tighties, is that what they call them? Like Speedos. And he leaves the door wide open, and he walks to the back of the motel room, which had, you know, those big 6-foot by 4-foot mirrors over the bathroom counters. I'm watching him through the mirror as he's walking towards me. And I'm watching him from behind as he's walking away. So he goes, and then he bends over into the little tiny refrigerator. And he pulls out 2 bottles of white wine, or wine, I don't know what it was. And then he's scanning the room because we don't serve alcohol, so he's got to conceal it somehow. He he sees his white cowboy boots, Paul Newman's white cowboy boots, and he walks over there and he puts the 2 bottles in the cowboy boots and brings them back to me. And I said, thank you very, very much, and I run back to the restaurant, and I don't trip, put them there. Paul Newman comes in a couple minutes later in this 2-piece white leisure suit, barefooted. They have their dinner, the party leaves. Paul Newman's the last one to go. He takes my hand and he slips me $100 bill. And he says, thank you for a lovely time. Thank you for a lovely time. And he goes off into the Arizona sunset looking very good in his white cowboy boots and his white leisure suit. Thank you.